hear from the horse's mouth. I believe that knowledge is the basis of understanding, and ignorance the basis of mistrust.
Super ego and high self-esteem. You cannot learn unless you have those. Now that's not to say that. I wonder where you are with your tape. You think that's barely much? After the
He's dragging it there. Hook it up. Yeah, I know, bro. He's dragging it there.
constantly involved in community activities. And if we are to do our job in terms of training young people for community involvement, then we have to bring the people in who have the expertise. While this is certainly not one of the Parkway programs in Philadelphia or School Without Walls, this is one of our contributions in our endeavor to train our youngsters in community involvement.
My friend, Mr. Riggins, I just want to say that we're going to talk for a few minutes. And after I finish talking, then we will have a discussion with each other. I want to introduce a few people who are here that some of you may not know, but you probably ought to. Before I do that, you know, I thought you sounded like the police when you called. Then when I saw the other news people, Don Miller and other folks, when I came here, and I was hoping nobody got killed or stabbed. We got some kind of stories out about this body. I just hope that when the police do call Mr. Riggins, that they don't sound like me. But if they do, I will be in trouble. Sister sitting right here is a good friend of mine. She is 24 years old. Her name is Barbara Montclair. She is president of the East Lawn Boys of the Peace. Avenue Community Center, they in charge of the youth program. Buster Simmons and Gerard somebody. Gerard. Gerard, okay. Then we have quite a few people from Montclair, and among the people from Montclair are Rodney Jenkins, who is vice president of the student government, Gerard Faxon and Glenn Doris, who are guidance counselors at Montclair High School. Where are they? Here's Glenn and there's Gerard. There's Rodney. Then we have Gail McLeod. So I decided I was just going to hang out. You know, I was going to hang out in New York, Big Apple, you know. And so I called up my little girlfriend. You know, she wasn't little to me then, but she was to me now. And we went over to New York, and we were just hanging out. Serious hanging, you know. And I realized that if I was to come back home, I would have to get the bus back home. And the last brother, tall dude, you know, walked on the bus. And you know, you hate to be corny and say, don't I know you from somewhere? You know, you try to say something unique when you see somebody that you just think you know. But he was so tall, I couldn't figure out what my approach would be, so I figured he would get shorter when he sat down. He sat down and I stood up and I looked him eye to eye. I said, aren't you Gil Noble? He said, no. He said, I used to be Gil Noble. You know, that's how he is. He tried to get smart. You know, he got his advantage. But anyway, we, at that point, met Gil Noble. He was taking the bus from work home. And I couldn't find another person on TV to be my friend. So as a result, he and I are friends, and my girlfriend's going on to somebody else. But he and I developed a friendship, and we are trying to do some things through his television program. Not only is he on Eyewitness News, but he is executive producer and host of the TV program Like It Is. So before I begin talking from him, I just want you to accept and greet Brother Gil Noble and the crew of Like It Is. The reason we are here today, we started here, is primarily because a few months ago, the newspapers, televisions, and the radio began talking about Shabazz High School. They talked about how Shabazz is one of the most violent high schools in the nation. Teachers are scared to teach. Guards are scared to guard. Cooks are scared to cook. Principals scared of principals.
I'm sorry.
Guidance counselors scared to guide. Just scared, you know. I had been sick for a while and I couldn't get in as quick as I could, but when I came down here, you know, came by myself, and I peeked around the corner. I'd been here before, just like in the old days when they would have cars swinging through the streets. You know, they would project Africans as being one way, and people would be so afraid of Africans that they would not even want to hear about Africa that long ago. that Shabazz was about to become the victim of homicide, and that the media and people's negligence would allow Shabazz to go down the drain because somebody spread a lie. By definition, if we are able to sit here in this library with these brothers and these sisters and people from all over, obviously people from Montclair are not afraid of Shabazz because they came here. Obviously, there's some good happening in Shabazz just because we're here. The principal allowed us to come in the library, open his door. There's obviously another story to tell about Shabazz. I'm just here as a person. I know some things and I know some people. And I know that the only thing worse than somebody messing with you is if you take it. As kids, as people, superiors and adults, I want to talk to you as an individual, hoping that something that I say may strike a chord in your life and cause you to do something you may not have done before. When I watched Bruce, I thought about a lot of things. I thought about the fact that Alex Haley, who wrote Bruce, would not have been able to write that book if he had not sat down on his porch and listened to the words of his grandmother. How many people in here watch Bruce this week? Raise your hand. You did. Alex Haley, when he was a boy, sat down and listened to his grandmother talk. He took the talk seriously and spent 12 years of his life finding out how much of that talk was fact. And so as a result, you have John Amos now assuming the role of Kente Kunte, and other actresses, actors, and Cicely Tyson. People are good because I'm young or because I don't have as many degrees, but for one reason or the other, I'm just not supposed to do what they can do. Blacks struggling for survival while whites enjoy life. When you look at our condition in America, right? But on the other hand, he knew that slavery was wrong. And so deep down in his heart, there was a strange kind of love and unity. The question I want to raise today is, have we lost that love? I think rightly brother said, you've lost that love in the field. Second thing that seems to be different now is that each slave, whether he was on the ship or whether he was on the plantation, had a certain willpower. The changes that happened on behalf of people, be they black or white, many times were led by old people but were run by young people. If you look at the civil rights movement, it was us, the students and the young people, who got things done. If you look at the peace movement which stopped the whole war in Vietnam, it was students and young people, which was us. Well, what happened between the time I was in school, the time you were in school? What happened was Superfly brothers, in spite of the conditions that surrounded. Sly Stone took everybody higher. Then Superfly's heels made us taller. And then the Mac made us slicker. Somebody made us quicker, and we even forgot what happened in the 60s. But nobody made us greater. Many of us today have abandoned our heritage. When I don't want to talk about the bad, but I've got to talk both sides. The reason why you are here is because there are some people standing outside this door who would just as soon destroy this library as you would sit here. You see, on one side, the stories about Shabazz were not true because they made the minority look like the majority. But on the other side, the majority stood back and let it happen. If you let somebody, let people think that you are as low life as they are, then you deserve the punishment of disgrace. The name of every major don't push in the South Water North from this road if we want to. The question becomes, which side are you on? That's why y'all are here. Each one of you has been asked to come here because of who you are and what you represent. You've got to decide today whether or not you are going to commit crimes or whether you're going to permit crimes. But if I see somebody robbing your house, I may not be guilty of robbery, but I'm guilty of accomplice if I don't know that kind of mentality. And so as you look at Roots tonight and tomorrow night, I want you to look at Roots. It may take a sacrifice, you know. You may have to go to your friend's house to watch TV. You may want to come to my house to watch TV, but I won't be there. I'll be someplace else. I don't care where you go, but watch it. I'm not saying Roots is the Bible. I'm not saying that everything in it is absolutely true. All I'm saying is that Roots is probably the closest we will get to seeing something that should put something on our minds because of what happened to our people, than anything else on TV. If I have to choose between Jimmy Walker and Roots to find out what happened to us, who am I going to choose? If I have to choose between Sanford and Son, that's my mama. Soul Train, that ain't my mama, oh, that's my mama. That ain't my mama, that's what Gil Noble told me. I had to argue, I used to like that stuff. And still try to sneak a peek, but when I think about my little sister, do you know, I got a sister 10 years old. Doc, when she's watching television, lest it be a commercial, don't discuss nothing. We could be discussing church. We could be she tells time by television. She comes in the house. She wants to know what time it is. She got 4 watches. She'll turn on and get mad at drinkers if they don't get it. You know somebody who thinks that they should be able to go at the end of a semester, get a marking period, get a report card, have an A, a B, a C, or at least a D. You know. Never been to class, never passed a test, and get mad at the teacher or the counselor if they don't get over. You're supposed to be a brother. I'm here to tell you that we have replaced some of our values with mess. So as you watch Roots, and you watch them brothers getting beat on their backs, and getting spat upon, and hear nigger, and all those things on TV, you think about some of your friends who are turning their backs on those folk who only survived that mess so that we could have a chance for a new day. And so we today have a job to do. Each one of us has a job to do. Just a few minutes ago, I was your age. I got 25 so fast, I forgot I was 25. People ask me how old you are, I'm still saying 21, 22. I got to be 25 so fast that I can love with sex, and so spend money, lie, do anything you can, brothers, to get over. And then tell your buddy what you did so he can get over on the same sister you got over on. And then y'all be in the locker room after basketball practice and talk about how maybe one day y'all can all get over on the same day, how great it would be. It's sick. I'm not talking about you people right here, but you know somebody who meets that description. This brother right here is on the football team. He has a responsibility. He's one of the biggest, baddest, boldest brothers in this school. Scares me to death. Yet that brother does not take on the responsibility to assume the role that God would have him assume with that big body, that bold brain, and them big hands. He's a criminal. He's a criminal. What concerns me most is that we have replaced our common sense with the easiest way possible to get over. When I was in California last month, I watched the news every night, teaching the citizens. Because unless we stand up with certain kinds of respect and regard for old people, when we get old, you know, the Bible says, whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he also reap. In the streets, we say, whatever goes around, comes around. You knock somebody who's old in their head today, when you get old tomorrow, stand on it. When young brother or sister does that, he or she has reached the lowest form of life. you think and watch Roots, think about it. One of those old folks sitting down there having gone through all of that mess all of their life, having to face one of us, beating them over the head with their own umbrella to get 50 cents out of their pocket. Something's wrong with us. So I would urge each and every one of you not to support me, but to support your community and your people in your school. I don't care what organization you work with, or what church you belong to, what place of people. There when the voices come together, you say, oh, isn't that a great song? When you hear one part, it's not a song, it's just a part. But when people start singing together and working together, then you get the picture of it. There are 30 million black people in this country. There are 200 million people in this country. I don't care how bad Jimmy Carter is or anybody else. Nobody by himself can save that many people. Everybody has to come together and determine what can we do together. You do your thing, I'll do mine, and we'll end up in the same place. Do we deserve the punishment this Monday?
You need to change your just the rules.
I mean, death is death. And so, sister, it has to be, it can't be no as a matter of fact thing. We have to deal with that specifically, and anything I can do, and we can do, I'm sure these brothers will help you, we just have to do. That is a community problem. That is not an East Orange High School problem. If those young brothers are walking around with weapons in school, that is a community problem, because he may kill a guidance counselor who happens to be my aunt. Yes, brother.
My name is Jerome Pierce, and I'm student who don't care. And that comes from the home, it comes from the elementary level. Because
The main part of that security. The secret is communication. I found it out for a fact. There's not one child in this school that Mr. Lee speaks to that don't answer back. Because truly, and I need a wonderful answer, one that makes me proud.
Are you Mr. Lee?
Yes, I am. So, I say to you, don't ask me, ask the kids. Does Mr. Lee try?
Let me say this. We got two more questions before we close. Let me say this. Brother made a point. It's very big. I get the feeling I'm the only one doing, thinking, and feeling what I'm feeling. So, I guess the reason why this is good is because you begin to get an opportunity to see that a brother East Orange is thinking the same thing you are. And it's something that gives you a little more hope. You know, that's why I like to travel so much. One of my best friends is here with me today. White McKee from Chicago. But there's a movement. I maintain right now that there is a youth movement going on right now in Essex County, in New Jersey, in this city. The only reason why nobody is calling that is because we are not called to that. As a result of today, the people will begin to see that there are some young people helping people, especially young people, develop leadership skills. One of my main concerns, and one of the things that we are talking about doing, is having a conference for student leaders and helping the student leaders like this.
Raised some noise about it, went to the board, and the next day, okay, they're gonna fix the room up and they're gonna get the books. But it's not for their kids. Now, there must be 5,000 black people in that church. And if just a few of them would get active, all of the things that are needed for those schools would happen, because the board yields to pressure. And I'm kind of frustrated in terms of how you have positive things done to black folks, done by black folks.
Okay, let's get down with it then, and precisely state what it is. What is the problem?
You know, we have described some things that exist in the black community as it regards the church, but exactly what is the problem there?
How to get black, oh.
And we need to write this stuff down here, see,
Okay,
because we
well,
have a statement of the problem to
Right,
put
but I'm
on
trying
here.
to wait for
What is our problem? What can we state it in clear? What do you see it in language for her to write?
Well, the whole lot.
He's got it.
Feedback, yeah.
It's coming out, I can feel it.
Into this package is quite a few things. For one thing, parents should instill the motivation of education in the child. The child should come to school in the first years, like having a parent's education of like have education instill them of happiness or like having fun as learning. Then another problem is that white people are insensitive of the education for black people. When the child comes to the teacher, if the home raising isn't right, and since black people are minority people, and there's a lot of pressure on the parents, and she might not have time, then plus she's a minority, she might have the money, she's got a lot of worries. And so
how
the
can
child,
the church help? That's
Yeah,
my
but
To the
question.
church. We want to
Yeah,
get to the
but
church.
how can the church help right there?
No, we state the problem now. There's some do too many
Oh,
things.
okay,
We
so
got to
what's the
state
problem?
what it is that's wrong. So you can start writing down a couple of things that he's
That's-
identifying.
that's
Then he
one of
can
'em.
pull it together.
the next thing they should have, for this problem from the church should get a group of teachers, black people that are sensitive to the needs.
Okay, but that's
of-
solving the problem. What
Okay,
is the
so
problem now?
what now? What's-
You're saying, I
I'm
thought you
saying
said.
one of the problems is that the education learning when the baby first comes into the world from the parents isn't great enough. You understand what I'm saying?
Lack of education, lack
From the
of education.
parents to instill
From the
them.
grassroots education.
Right.
What is it now?
Parental orientation to education.
All right.
Right.
Now that's a problem. That's gold.
It's not great
Let's
enough.
race go out.
Just
Let's put
run
out.
through it.
No
Yeah.
problem.
Lack of parental orientation to the problem, I think is what you're saying there. Okay, now, is there another problem in the
Right.
black community as regards the church?
Well, I think there's a lack of linkage, and for a better word, the lack of a link. I should say that there's not a communication, a lack of communication between those persons who are representatives of the black community in the educational field with that which is running and operating or responsible for the church and its system. They're not collected together, and that's a problem.
Lack of communication between the church
And the school,
Yeah.
right.
And also into that, it should be a communication between.
Now, wait a minute, we're dealing with
Let's get it,
problems. We're going to get
Yeah.
back to where you're coming.
Yeah, that's right.
We're getting our problems out because we're coming back later and we're going to talk about them. Then you're correct. We just want to identify what is a problem. There's a lack of communication. There's a lack of parental orientation. Anybody think, well, Ron, can you think of one?
That's a real
It's
problem.
something else
now.
I want to say that
Now,
though.
wait a minute. No, we want to deal with the problem
Okay,
first.
it's the same problem.
No, I don't want to deal with the same
Okay.
one. Let's get some new ones out there. Then we're going to all come back in the afternoon and we're going to deal with these problems. Then you'll be able to expand upon them.
But we gotta know.
Like the different techniques of teaching, methods and methodologies. The stimulation, the different.
We have trouble with these words.
Yeah.
I think you better make it broader. You have to bring in curriculum because basically.
Curriculum? Oh, good, that's good.
That would be a strength.
Yeah, right.
Curriculum development.
Now, if I misspell these words, tell me so I
That's
can
it.
correct it.
I think we're having trouble anyway. I
Right,
know
and
this, but they did say workshop.
Right.
That this is what it is. But I was gonna listen.
And in this page we have this so far down on the list now. This is not
Yeah,
giving
right,
people an
basically.
indication what we were thinking about.
No.
A lot of people in the church.
As long as
Not
it's
as
there.
preference.
Okay.
And then you just open it up, because the
brainstorming.
fact is, like I said, if you have something down, we all come from various areas, and the interpretations can be completely different. But we're missing something here, strength
So
of
many.
present. Okay, we have nothing about the test and measurement aspect, which is really
Accountability.
Accountability. Oh,
We'll take care of that. That's
That's
exactly
a
what
broad
we're doing.
category.
okay.
All right, what we say the lack
Oh,
of models for
I
which
think
people can
another thing, how about
find their direction.
individual
For
needs?
example, if
How would that,
that it's
yeah,
raining,
because, you know, the emphasis, yeah,
It's accountability and
yeah, right.
accountability.
No, that's not accountability. The strengths now, the child, you know, the total child and the needs of the child.
Right, they have the learning
Curriculum and
specialists.
accountability.
Yeah, right.
What about the learning specialists?
Athletic programs.
It's under accountability and curriculum, because
Yeah,
the
curriculum.
The fact that the
I'm
state is
trying to-
getting ready to give money now for it.
Bilingual, you know, all that.
Yeah, all under curriculum. Accountability again. See, some of these categories are in conjunction, no matter what. I think you have a wide category. Let's move on, and then we can fill in it, yes, and then we
What
can always
about,
come back.
we didn't put down some of the dedication of the teachers themselves.
Accountability again.
Then we have
Accountability, or I'm talking about personal. These are accountability.
certification and
Accountability.
preparation.
Accountability, because if you're not accounting, yeah, you're not gonna be around
No,
too
that's
much
true.
longer. And they are, how are they doing it? The
But
curriculum,
they're making that their own personal goal.
Well,
certification.
we could say that in the preparation, there should be some type of psychological test or something that's given to a person as they go into teaching majors to see if they're suited.
Okay, but hold off on that, because who's gonna devise the test? So if you let us stay on the
I'm
accountability and
sure
curriculum.
that somebody could come up with something.
I'm sure too, but I
The
said they
same as
don't
they
come up with the
found out
right
that
test.
48% of the people in New Orleans didn't love children.
But it's not all that the producing nations wanted, but it's not all that we would like either. We came very close to adhering to the cocoa agreement, but unfortunately, the cocoa agreement, we found the pricing mechanisms in the cocoa agreement very, very rigid, and we thought that this would result in prices to consumers which we could not support. However, we've made some proposals to modify that agreement. We hope that in future negotiations over the coming year, we will be able to come to